You're watching India Today. I'm Rahul Kanwal. We've got a first reaction coming in from the government of Pakistan. The advisor to the Pakistan Prime Minister Sartaj Aziz has spoken a short while before now. He's saying there's nothing unusual in getting a stay on a death sentence from the ICJ. He claims his country had very good lawyers. They did a good job in representing Pakistan's interests in the ICJ. He says security is one of the big reasons why consular access has not been provided. Meanwhile, the Attorney General's office has vowed to take the case to its logical end. Lots of chest beating in Pakistan. Many former judges coming out speaking openly and very harshly against the Pakistani government, saying that they've embarrassed the country at The Hague. They claim that the representation was very poor, that the arguments were weak, and that Pakistan shouldn't have gone. There's been a massive amount of tension between the civilian government in Pakistan and the Pak army. Very interesting to see how that development plays out. I want to play out now Sartaj Aziz speaking to one of the local Pakistani channels.
इस फैसले में दो पहलू हैं। एक तो ये है कि जब तक ये इस मसले का हतमी फैसला नहीं होता, उस पर उन्होंने स्टे दिया है। ये कोई ऐसी अनहोनी बात नहीं है हमारे। दूसरा पहलू जो है वो काउंसलर एक्सेस का है। उसमें उन्होंने कहा है कि जी जो वियना कन्वेंशन है उसके तहत उनको एक्सेस का हक बनता है। इसमें हमारा जो मौक़िफ़ था वो ये है कि इसके सिक्योरिटी पहलू भी है, क्योंकि वो जिस तरीके से उनको जिस कार्रवाई या जिस चार्जेस पे अरेस्ट किया गया है वो हमारी सिक्योरिटी के लिए जो दहशतगर्दी के और उनके वो हैं। अब काउंसलर एक्सेस में कोई ऐसी चीज है जो वो इंडिया के वकील को पास ऑन कर सकता है? कोई ऐसी इंफॉर्मेशन है जो हमारे सिक्योरिटी के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से नहीं पास होनी चाहिए? ये चीजें जो है ये हमारे जो एजेंसियां कंसर्न है उनको देखना पड़ेगा कि उसका हक होते हुए भी आया इस केस में ये कहाँ तक हम इसकी इस हवाले से कंसिडर कर सकते हैं। ये दो पहलू तो हो गए। अब अगला जो बुनियादी बात है वो ये है कि जो कोर्ट की जुरिस्डिक्शन है, इसका मेरिट है, उस पर तो फैसला नहीं हुआ। उन्होंने कहा कि ये विदाउट प्रेजुडिस टू दोज है। तो अब उसकी हम तैयारी करेंगे, वकीलों की नई टीम बनाएंगे और इसमें जो बात है कि हम ना जाते तो क्या होता, वो मेरा ख्याल है इन हालात में हमारे लिए वो मुनासिब फैसला नहीं था। तो अब हम जो अगला असली जो मेरिट का केस है और जो जुरिस्डिक्शन है, और वो भी सिर्फ प्रोसेस का होगा, जो उस पर चार्जेस हैं या वो पाकिस्तान कानून के मुताबिक उसका फैसला होगा, उसमें इंटरनेशनल कोर्ट का अमल दखल नहीं है। वो तो सिर्फ ये देखेगा कि ड्यू प्रोसेस है हमारे कानून के मुताबिक है कि नहीं है।
That's the Pakistan Prime Minister's advisor, the de facto foreign minister, saying that it's no big deal. The Pakistan Foreign Office has indicated that the ICJ has no jurisdiction over a criminal case pertaining to national security inside Pakistan. So what options then does India have and what happens next? Joining us, one of India's finest public prosecutors, Ujjwal Nikam. Also on this broadcast is the super sharp Dr. Subramanian Swamy. I want to go across to Dr. Swamy first. You just heard the Pakistani Prime Minister's advisor, Dr. Swamy, say that no big deal, stays are usual, doesn't impact our case. Every guest we've had from Pakistan saying no matter what the announcement at the ICJ, a military court in Pakistan does not come under the jurisdiction of The Hague.
Well, first of all, I think Sartaj Aziz probably never studied law, because it's in our civil procedure code and our criminal code, it's in all the judgments of the Supreme Court, it's in the American courts, in almost all democratic countries' courts, that you don't give a stay. A court doesn't give a stay unless they are satisfied there is a prima facie case in your favor and that you are likely to win the case. Then only they give the stay. And that's the argument we all make, and the stay is not given for every case. It's given only when they are satisfied that there is a very strong prima facie case and that you are likely to win the case. So this stay is indeed an indication, and especially when they said that it will cause irreparable, the exact phrase used by the International Court was, it would cause irreparable damage and prejudice to the Indian case if we don't give a stay. So let Sartaj Aziz go and brush up his law before speaking to the press. Second is that all these hocus pocus arguments they gave about having a bilateral agreement with India or there's a military court, all that was rejected. They said that the Vienna Convention, they even quoted the articles which will apply, and that the optional protocol which Pakistan has signed, that also will make it quite clear that the International Court of Justice had a jurisdiction. And I think it's a tremendous victory on for us.
Undoubtedly, it's a
even
huge victory. But Ujjwal Nikam, there's a problem. The problem is that we're looking at it one way. We're convinced it's a big victory. Pakistan says we don't care about the ICJ. We already have a law. We will not listen to the ICJ. How do we ensure that Pakistan is left with no option but to obey what the International Court of Justice has said?
Rahul, this is no doubt a very important question, but at the same time we cannot forget the Article 94 of the United States, and which says that the order of the ICJ court is mandatory in character, and what today ICJ has also held, that the order should be implemented in its spirit by the Pakistan and report of its compliance be given to the ICJ. Now the moot question is whether Pakistan would obey, and what Mr. Sartaj Aziz has today said, that yes, we are not bound by the said order. Now the question would be how it could be enforced. The only channel that is left open to approach to the United Nations Security Council, and through United Nations Security Council it can be enforceable. But again there is only one limitation, that if any member of the United Nations Security, especially the 5 permanent members, if anybody invoke veto power in favor of the Pakistan for not implementing the order of ICJ, then the United Nations Security Council becomes functus officio. That is the most risk. And that is on what basis Mr. Sartaj
Seeing how China and Pakistan are now locked in embrace, Ujjwal Nikam, we're seeing the one belt, one road corridor passing through Pakistan. It's possible that China could, in the United Nations Security Council, jump to Pakistan's rescue, is it not?
You see, it is very difficult for China also to take openly this side of the Pakistan, because this is a judgment. This is a preliminary order of 11 worldwide legal brains, that is the international court. So how, if at all China wants to support it, of course this issue should be sorted out also through diplomatically, and we must convince the 5 members, permanent members also through diplomatic channel as to why Pakistan should implement the order. Other options we have, no doubt, we have the other option. I will come to that aspect, but let me tell you that majority the ICJ will have to consider whether there is a breach or violation of any international agreement or not. ICJ won't touch the merit of the matter. Let me tell you very frankly, whether he is a spy or not, whether he is involved or not, whether proper opportunity was given to Mr. Jadhav or not. Because ICJ has taken the cognizance of Barrister Qureshi's statement which he has made while arguing on behalf of the Pakistan, that there are number of the days are available for execution and India is making unnecessary haste. And Mr. Qureshi also said that 42 days, perhaps he might have mentioned 42 days, the Chief Justice of the ICJ court took the cognizance of the statement of the Pakistan lawyer and said that after 42 days it means that Pakistan would execute the order of the death penalty at any point of time, and therefore they have said that it is
Dr. Swamy, that's an important point that Ujjwal Nikam makes,
and prejudice to the
that he believes that the ICJ will only look at the procedural aspects of the trial in Pakistan, which means that the trial will continue to be conducted in Pakistan. That can't be good news for India and for Kulbhushan Jadhav, because they've been totally biased. Even if we go in appeal, whether the family goes in appeal or India goes in appeal, even if some form of consular access is provided, this is going to be a very, very long, very, very arduous battle. Even though we've delivered one punch to Pakistan, there's a full bout to go. Dr. Swamy.
If you are thinking that through the court, the present court, if you are thinking that through the present opportunities of the court, we can have Jadhav come back to India by the next plane. No, no, that's not the issue. The issue is, first of all, we got to get access to him to see whether he is indeed alive and whether he is his body has not been reduced to a pathetic state by their torture and all the other methods that they have used on him. So that is first thing that we have to satisfy by getting our consular access. And then secondly, this is once the International Court of Justice holds that the procedure followed is wrong, then it is ipso facto invalid and they have to start all over again. Now, these are the things which we are looking too far in advance. But I agree with one point that was being made, and that is we must start talking to China and find out how they can come around to coming up to be of the same view as us instead of blindly supporting
but the
Pakistan.
one very
and
strong,
I personally believe having
you're
dealt
right,
with
Dr.
China
Swamy.
for over many
Absolutely,
years.
you're right, Dr. Swamy, that instead of worrying too much about what might happen in the future, this is a moment to pause and celebrate what India has been able to achieve, because we have, in some senses, been able to up the ante, put pressure on Pakistan internationally, deliver them a big embarrassment, and that really is kudos to the Prime Minister himself, Harish Salve, our batsman at The Hague, also Sushma Swaraj and the entire team at the Ministry of External Affairs. They could have just sat back and allowed things to drift. Instead, they've taken the bull by the horns, Ujjwal Nikam, and showing that if you're aggressive, if you are pushing hard, you can make the international system move. It's been rather unprecedented between India going to The Hague and getting this order so quickly.
Yes.
Are you asking me?
Yes,
Rahul?
Mr.
Totally
Nikam,
agree
I
with
am.
that.
First to Mr. Nikam, then Dr. Swamy.
Yeah, please tell me. What is your question?
No, my question
Sorry, I was
is
not
that this
attentive to
really
your
shows how India has been able to up the ante, put pressure on Pakistan, move the International Court of Justice in a way that you ordinarily wouldn't expect. Between the time we said we'll go in appeal and getting this favourable order, we've really been able to activate the levers that move the ICJ very effectively.
Yes, certainly. This is not an ordinary order which has been granted by the ICJ today, because this will have a long ramification, I must tell you. And if Pakistan would show courage for not disobeying the said order, of course, without considering the diplomatic channel, there are so many other options open to the India to cancel the most favored country nation, then induce agreement. So many things are there. And if Pakistan will go on that line, then perhaps that will be a boomerang on the Pakistan. So I don't think that we have taken a very, I must say that we have taken a very right decision in approaching the ICJ, because now Pakistan real faces its foes. Not only that, consular access is very needed, because our contention is that the confession has been extracted by giving an ill treatment. And why? I fail to understand one simple question, Rahul, that even after the order of the death penalty passed by the Army Court of Pakistan, why they were constantly refusing to have consular access. And my contention is that even India has asked for the medical report and the condition of Mr. Kulbhushan Jadhav. They did not furnish. The simple reason is they had badly ill-treated him, and Mr. Jadhav's condition perhaps was in such a worse condition that if consular access is given, then it is easily India will come to know that his confession has been extracted. It is not a free and a voluntary confession. And Pakistan law says that
I have a question, Dr. Swamy. You're saying go to China. Dr. Swamy, you're saying go to China, reach out to China. You're seeing how India and China are locked in conflict, whether it is over the One Belt, One Road project, whether it is about CPEC. Everywhere we're in conflict with China. So how will we go to China and try and ensure that on Kulbhushan Jadhav they help us, where they're not even prepared to announce that Masood Azhar is a terrorist? They're not prepared to say that, and here you've got who Pakistan claims is a spy. What's the guarantee they'll help us? Are we being too hopeful that Beijing will help Delhi?
Not much hopeful. We must negotiate with them. And it's not impossible that they will agree to things which you never thought they would agree. I'll take a very small incident when Moraji gave me a challenge about the Kailash Mansarovar. and said they are communists, they'll never agree, but you try. And it took me 3 years, but they did agree. And they have kept that agreement. People are going unimpeded to Kailash Mansarovar every year, 5,000, 6,000 people. So I think we shouldn't write this off. This is the opportunity to start sitting with them and talking with them. And their military position is not that superior that they can take us for granted. And they know that over a period of time we can be a challenger. So I think we should talk to them and find a way out. And just because we have failed in the past doesn't mean we have to fail in the future.
Leave it there. Thank you very much, Ujjwal Nikam. Thank you very much, Dr. Subramanian Swamy, for joining us. I want to go across to Aftab Mohari. He's a senior journalist in Pakistan, joining us on this broadcast. Mr. Mohari, what's been the response in Pakistan to this big verdict delivered in favor of India and against Islamabad? Aftab Mohari, do you hear me?
जी मैं यहाँ हूँ, आपके साथ हूँ और जी
क्या रिस्पांस रहा है पाकिस्तान में? इतना बड़ा वर्डिक्ट पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ गया है, पाकिस्तान में जिस तरीके का ट्रायल हुआ उसके खिलाफ जजेस ने बोला है।
पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ इसको नहीं कह सकते, ये वक्ती तौर पर रोक है। आज आपने देखा भी सुना भी तो अदालतों ने कहा कि हिंदुस्तान का जो मौक़िफ़ है उसमें कोई उतनी सदाकत नहीं जिस तरह हिंदुस्तान को ये केस अपनी तरफ से लाना चाहिए था। ये तय है कि कुलभूषण जो है वो भारतीय नागरिक है, भारतीय शहरी है और वो रॉ का एजेंट है, इसमें तो कोई दो राय नहीं है। और वो अगर पाकिस्तान में पाया गया और पाकिस्तान के शहर बलूचिस्तान के सूबों से मुख्तलिफ शहरों में से गिरफ्तार हुआ तो इसमें तो कोई दो राय हो ही नहीं सकती कि वो कोई हिंदुस्तानी शहरी नहीं है।
Okay, thank you very much for joining us. I want to go across now to a very respected Pakistani jurist, Justice Shaikh Usmani is joining us on this broadcast. Mr. Usmani, welcome to India today. I see you've put out some very scathing comments in the local media. You're saying it's a big mistake for Pakistan to have gone to the ICJ. We shouldn't have gone at all. How can Pakistan not have gone to the ICJ? So wouldn't that have been more embarrassing for Pakistan, Justice?
Yes, that's what my view is. Was also at the very beginning. In the beginning, I said that the ICJ has no jurisdiction in this matter at all, and the fact that our lawyers went across there and they actually went and argued, that, in my view, was a mistake. If there is no jurisdiction, there was no need for them to go there at all. And if they had gone, they should have just confined themselves to the jurisdictional issue and nothing else. And because
do you accept that what's happened at The Hague has been a big embarrassment for the Pakistani government, the military establishment, the manner in which consular access was denied to India, various provisions of the Vienna Convention not followed, hugely embarrassing this order today from the ICJ for Islamabad?
Well, I didn't quite understand what you said, but essentially it's a question of jurisdiction. And ICJ in matters like these does not have jurisdiction. If it starts having jurisdictions in matters like these, then there will be immense problems in the world because ICJ really has no basis to do this. So this is why my view was that they should not have gone there at all. And they should have followed the normal legal process here and the diplomatic channels rather than going and submitting themselves to the jurisdiction.
Respect, Mr. Usmani, this is the argument that the Pakistani advocate Barrister Qureshi made at the ICJ, and that was rejected. He argued that Pakistan didn't have, that the ICJ didn't have any jurisdiction in the matter. The 11-judge bench heard him and rejected what your barrister said.
No, what I'm saying to you is that when you go to court and you do not recognize the jurisdiction of a court, then you just argue the jurisdictional issue and you do not say anything else. Unfortunately, whoever the lawyer was, he not only argued the jurisdiction issue, he also talked about the fact, which he did not have done. He just talked about the jurisdiction issue and down. And then let the ICJ decide whether they have the jurisdiction or not. That is, if he had gone there. In my view, he should not have gone there in the first place. This is what my view is. If I'd been somebody who had sought my advice, I would have told them not to go there at all.
Leave it there, Justice Shaikh Usmani, for joining us on this broadcast. Thank you, Kapil Zangla. Interesting, the chest beating in Pakistan. They don't once. This is like once you lose in cricket, you don't like the team, you don't like the strategy, you don't like the bowling, you don't like the fielding, you don't like his arguments at the ICJ.
And then you decide to throw the bat and say, "Main nahi khelunga."
Many batting. That's it. Now I won't field now. They batted. Now they don't want to field. Thank you very much, Kapil, for joining us. It's been fantastic having you with us. We're slipping into a quick break. I hope to have Ravi Shankar Prasad, Senior Minister in the Modi government, joining us to talk about this big victory, India's effort at The Hague, and what may happen if the Pakistani team says, "Main nahi khelunga," if they decide not to follow what the ICJ is saying. Big victory over Pakistan at the International Court of Justice. And to talk about this huge order in favor of India, I want to go across now to Senior Minister in the Modi government, Ravi Shankar Prasad, joining us on this broadcast. Many congratulations on behalf of the people of India. Everyone very relieved that Kulbhushan Jadhav's death sentence has at least been stayed. A job well done by the Modi Sarkar.
Obviously, it is a proud day for India, and the Modi government is very clear it will stand up with every Indian. And this case we filed in the International Court of Justice, almost in the capacity of a guardian of an Indian citizen, Kulbhushan Jadhav. But Rahul, 2-3 things are very important to be appreciated. In March 2016, India was informed by Pakistan that Kulbhushan Jadhav had been arrested. Thereafter, India kept on seeking consular access nearly more than a dozen times. Almost after a year, in January, India was informed that there is an FIR. First you assist in the investigation, only then consular access shall be given. And one date is very important. 10th of April 2017, they had a press release that the military court has given capital punishment to Kulbhushan Jadhav, and the army chief has confirmed it. But what is ironical is, on the same day, they had the temerity to write to Government of India that you have not done anything in our earlier request to give assistance in investigation. That is the enormity of farce which Pakistan was pleading. And I have got the petition before me. All these facts were pleaded. And second point, Rahul, your viewers need to know that Pakistan has properly agreed with the terms of Vienna Convention, as has India. We went that here are two countries, both are party to Vienna Convention, which says as a matter of precondition that consular access is important for a fair trial, has been rudely given. And I have got the order with me. I'm sure you have got the order too. And the order notes two things very clearly. One, Pakistan refused to give any assurance that it shall not execute till the matter is pending. Thereafter, they have passed this order, and they have also said Pakistan will ensure compliance. What is a matter of larger strategic importance is, as a student of law, India also argued the case of fair trial as an integral to a serious offence. And I want the viewers of India Today to know, Rahul, that Ajmal Kasab came to India from Pakistan at their bidding, killed so many Indians in Mumbai. Pakistan disowned him, but we gave him a lawyer in the district court. We gave him a big lawyer in the High Court, and a top senior lawyer, Raju Ramchandran, was given amicus to him in the Supreme Court. That is India's record of adherence to rule of law.
Mr. Prasad, you know, you're a case lawyer yourself. And if for a moment I were to play devil's advocate and look at it from the Pakistani perspective, look at all the reactions coming from Pakistan. They're saying 2 or 3 things. One, Maliha Lodhi, Pakistan's representative to the United Nations, has written saying that from March onwards, Pakistan will not allow for any matter pertaining to national security to come under the purview of the International Court of Justice. They're saying that Kulbhushan Jadhav, they claim, is a spy, and they will not follow what the ICJ says. So how will we deal with a situation where the Pakistani government is already making very clear signals that they will not listen to any adverse order no matter what the ICJ may say? How will we deal with that, sir?
First of all, this order was passed after hearing Pakistan. Don't forget one thing. And extraordinary argument of Harish Salve, I need to compliment him. He did a great job. I was also involved in this whole planning as a law minister. But let me reply to your query by a counter query. Vienna Convention adherence is clear of consular access. We are not questioning sovereignty of Pakistan. We requested Pakistan 16 times. Now you had a sham trial, complete violation of human right. And surely, Rahul, as an experienced journalist, you would know that adherence to basic procedural safeguard is integral to a fair trial. I told you the case of Ajmal Kasab, a confirmed killer, captured on television, but not given a sham trial, a fair trial with a proper lawyer assisting him. That is the meaning. But there is a larger question, I will not go into that. This I said only in response to the comments from Pakistan. Though, by the way, I don't take you as the spokesperson of Pakistan view. You are a proud Indian, I know that.
Absolutely.
But what is important is, even otherwise, there is no substance in that.
No, but the question, sir, is what will be India's next step from here on? Pakistan is saying they will not give consular access, they will not listen to the ICJ. They're saying the ICJ holds no merit for us. Will we be appealing before, you're also the country's law minister, will we be appealing, will India be appealing before the High Court and subsequently the Supreme Court, or will you want that Kulbhushan Jadhav's family appeals in their private capacity? How will we take the case from here? What's the next step, sir?
First of all, consular access was sought for what purpose? Was sought for the purpose to know from where he was arrested. What are the charges against him? They have not even furnished the charges against him. Forget the consular access. No visa has been given to the family members of Kulbhushan Jadhav. No, it has not been given. But those are larger issues. Today the matter is pending before the World Court, where we have gone, where after hearing both the sides, an order has been passed. What shall be the other strategy? I don't think I need to talk about that with Rahul Kanwal on the national television. Okay? Let us leave it to the sound judgment of the government of India.
So one of the things that comes out very clearly, Mr. Prasad, is that the willingness of the Indian government to stake so much international prestige by moving the International Court of Justice, ensuring that there's so little lag between our appeal and today's order. This is quite unprecedented. You know, we saw this with the Prime Minister, for example, in Varanasi. 3 days, he staked his personal prestige in the last phase of the UP elections here as well. If there had been an adverse verdict, your critics would have had their swords out, and despite the risk that the government ran, you all still went, showing that, you know, if there's one Indian citizen whose life is at stake, the government will do whatever it possibly can to ensure that he gets the justice he deserves.
What happened in Yemen, my good friend Rahul Kanwal? Did Mr. Modi send Air India planes or not to rescue them? Did he station Mr. V.K. Singh there or not to rescue them? What happened in Iraq? What happened in other countries? This we filed in capacity as a guardian of every Indian. You must understand that. And yes, it is Narendra Modi government. It takes risk. I agree with you. It was a calculated risk. But we thought our case is very strong. And yes, our case is indeed very strong. Therefore, without commenting any further, the matter is sub judice, Rahul. Today, Pakistan stands at a crucial test before the bar of the world justice system. Mark my word, Pakistan today stands at the bar of the world justice system, because ICJ represents the mandate of the UN. And today 9 judges, by a unanimous verdict, 2 separately given, further reinforcing the angle of human right, has said that Pakistan, in fact, I would allow your indulgence to kindly allow me to read. Pakistan shall take all measures at its disposal to ensure that Mr. Jadhav is not executed pending the final decision in these proceedings, and shall inform the court of all the measures taken in implementation of the present order. Such a firm, categorical, unambiguous order is there.
Or are you reading the internal dynamics, Minister, in Pakistan.
trust.
There's been so much commentary about the rift between the civilian government and the army pushing this through, elements in the civilian establishment being uneasy with Pakistan's approach. Do you believe that an order of this nature, which the judge said is legally binding, it's an international obligation, something like this would give strength to the civilian establishment and prevent any mischief from General Bajwa and his generals in the army?
Sitting as a Minister of India and talking to you, I am not supposed to be judgmental over the inner political dynamics of Pakistan. Okay? We are dealing with Pakistan as a country, mindful of its sovereignty. We have raised serious questions of rank violation of well-established international obligations in case of an simple Indians whose rights have been violated. I repeat, Pakistan today stands before the bar of the international justice system. Let's see how it behaves. Thank you, Rahul.
Okay,
Thank
I'm going to leave it there. Ravi Shankar Prasad, Law Minister, joining us, saying that the Indian government acted in its capacity as a guardian of every citizen. They'll do what they can to try and ensure that justice is meted to every Indian citizen. I want to bring you now some of the highlights of the proceedings from the order which was presented at the International Court of Justice. Let's sit back and watch for a moment this big victory for India against Pakistan at The Hague.
Under the present circumstances, it is appropriate for the court to order that Pakistan shall take all measures at its disposal to ensure that Mr. Jadhav is not executed pending the final decision in these proceedings, and shall inform the court of all the measures taken in implementation of the present order. The court reaffirms that its orders on provisional measures under Article 41 of the statute have binding effect and thus create international legal obligations for any party to whom the provisional measures are addressed. When the jurisdiction of the court is founded on particular treaties and conventions in force pursuant to Article 36, paragraph 1 of its statute, it becomes irrelevant to consider the objections to other possible bases of jurisdiction. Any reservations contained in the declarations made by the parties under Article 36, paragraph 2 of the statute cannot impede the court's jurisdiction specially provided for in the optional protocol. Thus, the court need not examine these reservations further.
All the critical points made by Harish Salve being upheld by the International Court of Justice, a big legal victory this for India. Sudhanshu Trivedi, national spokesperson of the BJP, is joining us. I want to ask him questions about what Naseez Zakaria, spokesperson of the Pakistan Foreign Office, has said in an official briefing, the Pakistani response to this big adverse order at the ICJ.
Pakistan has entered a revised declaration under Article 36(2) of the Statute of ICJ on 29th March 2017. This is a much stronger declaration than the earlier one, which was entered in 1960. Now, this declaration Pakistan submitted after exhaustive discussions among, after inter-agency consultations. Many clauses have been added to the earlier declaration, including excluding all matters related to the national security of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, which in the current case totally excludes the jurisdiction of ICJ under Article 36(2) in our view, after India stood exposed in state-sponsored terrorism, terror financing, spying and subversive activities. it has desperately tried to divert the world attention by presenting Kulbhushan's case from humanitarian angle. India is trying to defend a person whose actions have led to the killing of scores of innocent Pakistanis.
Post no introspection, Sudhanshu Trivedi from Pakistan, they're making very clear they won't listen to what the International Court of Justice has said.
Rahul, if you look at today's judgment, the position of Pakistan has become much more complex, because up till now on the issue of terrorism, they are gradually getting cornered on a strategic and diplomatic aspect. Now for the first time on judicial aspect, they are also being cornered. In my opinion, Pakistan should try to rethink about their status and credibility at the international level. Particularly when after this categorical judgment they are trying to defy. The point is very clear, as Law Minister was also saying. If you were saying that ICJ is not having the jurisdiction, then still you appeared in the court, pleaded in the same court, and now when the decision has gone against you, then you are trying to say that we will not abide by that. This is purely a childish and ridiculous approach. So in my opinion,
also citing, before you came, Dr. Trivedi, we had a Pakistani guest who cited what America did in the Legrand case, where the judgment went against the United States, and yet they went ahead with the execution despite what the ICJ has said. They said if America can do it, why can't we? Now they seem to be living in this delusional world where they are comparing themselves with Washington.
Yes, of course, if Pakistan is trying to compare themselves with Washington, by support of which they are sustaining since over 3 generations, then it is definitely a ridiculous stand of Pakistan. If at all it is to be compared, they are talking about a video. I would like to remind, in the issue of Kasab, there was a video available in the public domain. The entire world media has watched that he was having AK-47 rifles in his hand, killing Indians, and he was caught despite when he was killing one police person. Still, we have provided him a full trial in a civil court, a full, transparent and open trial. And in this case, forget about a full, transparent or open trial, they are not even ready to provide the charge sheet. There are 1 charges they have executed Kulbhushan Jadhav. So this shows a sheer hypocrisy on the part of Pakistan.
I'm going to leave it there. Really appreciate you joining us, Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, senior spokesperson of the BJP. Happy with the fact that Pakistan has been pinned down legally, and confident that justice will be done and Kulbhushan Jadhav will not be sentenced to death. Make no mistake, this is a big victory for India, and it shows the resolve of the government to pull levers of all kinds, legal, judicial, international levers, to try and ensure that justice is served. We're slipping into a break. We'll have more for you when we come back on the other side. Stay with us.